Hello everybody and welcome back to Brilliant Shadows. So we just visited the gardens and now we're back walking with Prude and discussing everything that's going on. So let's see how that ends up, I suppose. Prude just said, I'm glad he's sleeping. I was actually starting to feel tired from the amount of sleep he was skipping.
So, I wrote my mother with the news.
How did she handle it?
As well as can be expected.
So, poorly?
Prude nodded.
She says my duty to my kingdom is far greater than my duty to my school and commands I leave at once.
Oof.
A greater concern is that the contract for her hedge mage has come up and Aku says she has another position already waiting for her. Mother had been planning quite specifically for my prompt return.
I'm sorry. This is all my
Mage.
fault. Tell her that for me.
Oh, she knows. She says that I should just bring Heck with me. And I quote, "Let the sodding moldy sacks who call themselves heads suck a wand."
Oh, my. That's quite colorful language for royalty.
Yeah.
I know! I'm sure she was quite proud of it.
So, what are you going to do?
Well, my plan is similar to her own, save for one point she didn't account for.
Oh, are you going to bring me with you?
I intend to bring you.
What, have a trio instead of a pair?
Until we find the other phoenix? Yes.
That's ridiculous. It would also be a trio in name only. I wouldn't be able to actually contribute to pairing magic.
I think it's a good idea. Leaving you here is just tragic.
That certainly sheds a positive light on my predicament.
I plan to have Heck speak with the heads. He might be able to convince them of the need to get you away from here.
I only just noticed it, but are you calling him Heck?
My friend, she's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, I'm Prude, you're Ash, and he's Heck.
Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Why does he get a nickname already?
Well, I'm stuck with him for a long time one way or another. Might as well let him in on our fun a little early, no?
Ash forced a smile.
So back to the matter at hand. Why do you insist on Heck talking to the heads? Shouldn't you have more clout, seeing as you're of a royal lineage?
Ooh, that's a good point.
You should know this better than I. But I think Heck's stronger than either of the heads alone, at least in terms of magical ability.
Interesting.
Did you notice when he picked a fight with Zachariah in your room?
I noticed the blood, and when she kicked him in the stomach.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he disagreed with how they handled the situation.
And what, he attacked them?
Yeah, it's not great.
More or less. I didn't really see what escalated the argument, but by the time I was there, Zachariah was on the ground, and Luciana was turning purple while her golems were pummeling him into submission.
Jesus.
Ash, he was a student 2 years ago. They are the heads of their orders. He shouldn't be that strong. Despite the confrontation, they have a certain degree of respect for him.
Sounds more like they have a certain degree of fear.
Still, they will listen to him more than myself.
I can't imagine they will still be willing to let us go.
Right?
At some point, it won't be worth it for them to keep us here any longer.
It's true.
There really is only so much they can do to investigate this without resorting to something drastic like Heck wanted to try.
So what will I do there?
I'm sure my mother will find uses for a trio of mages.
And what if I never find the truth behind my mark?
Then you're still a capable necromancer who will, if nothing else, have a position in court.
And no chance of high adventure, I suppose.
Perhaps not, but there was that risk when we decided to join the Kingsguard.
Prudence, Veronica, why are you about?
What do you mean? Where
Is
else
there
would
a
we be?
reason we shouldn't be?
Yeah.
Dearest goddess, I pray you're not taking after Hector so quickly. I had hoped a year or two of shame might have shackled a bit of that arrogance, but apparently it only made it infectious.
Zachariah, there's no need to be so controlling. The girls are graduates after all.
Yeah, we're graduates.
They may be graduates, but they're also involved in what may be the greatest scandal our school has ever experienced.
That's not our fault!
I am sure we will find out what has happened in time. Hector is busy looking into it right now.
We are
Zachariah
conducting an
sneered.
investigation of our own. We do not need the assistance of a freshly paired pup to...
Luciana began laughing and Zachariah looked embarrassed for a moment.
Zachariah is still a bit sore over losing.
I did not lose. He caught me off guard. Even the best warriors cannot easily counter a sneak attack.
Of course, my love, a sneak attack. Now, to be frank, we are entirely fine with Mr. Warlock pursuing his own line of
that his
research.
name?
But
Or
both
is he
Zachariah and I agree that there is likely a much more mundane explanation
I'd
to
like him
this.
so much more if his last name's Warlock.
We do not understand the exact limitations of the ritual.
Most likely, there was someone performing the ritual at its absolute maximum range, possibly even outside the mountain. Meaning there is someone, possibly a candidate of significant ability and skill, in a nearby village, who will bear the Phoenix mark.
That's a lot.
And
to
once
take
we
in.
find this candidate, you will have a partner and will be allowed to leave.
Excuse me? I can go wherever I
I'm
want.
confused. Why do Heck and Prude need to stay here then?
Zachariah looked uncomfortable with the question.
The fact still remains that if we are wrong, Hector has conducted more research related to the subject than any living mage. Though my dear will be loath to admit it, his knowledge and insight may be invaluable to determining an alternative cause.
Interesting.
If he knew so much, you'd think he would have known the range of the ritual.
She's still a bit salty.
Oh, salty.
Now,
My
if you'll
God.
excuse us, we were just about to go speak with your seekers. We need to conduct a sweep for candidates immediately.
Alright, bye. Zachariah maintained a sneer as the two walked away.
What does salty mean?
It's a soldier term, I think, meaning something around the lines of being upset.
It's salty.
I like it.
It's funny, right? So salty, let me tell you.
What I can't believe is that he just passed out so easily.
He's sleepy.
Are you kidding? He was about 2 steps from the
He hasn't
grave in
slept.
his condition.
I want to be sure, though. It doesn't bother you, right? Him sleeping in your bed, I mean.
He is sleeping alone. Were he to have tried to join me, my opinion may have been different, but as it stands, I have no qualms.
You're handling it better than I would.
That's just because you've always had a weakness for boys.
No, I mean everything. I wasn't just talking about the bed. And I don't have a weakness for boys. You just have a complete lack of regard for them. You know, we've been here for, goddess, how many years has it been? 15? And you have yet to...
Please, Prude, there is more to life than relationships.
That is true.
I know, but...
Prude. Look, I had supposed that such things would wait until I was paired and we were truly beginning our lives.
Ah, so what you're saying is that you want something more romantic. Something with more substance than the fling at school.
And you don't?
Prude sighed.
I'm not sure what I want anymore.
Ash's eyes grew wide before she followed Prude's gaze to the sleeping Hector.
You can't possibly mean...
I have the solution.
Hector was up within such a jolt that both Prude and Ash were against the wall, arms raised and magic summoned.
She is paired with a plant, because clearly if her research is correct...
A long pause hung.
I have lost my train of thought.
More like you woke up from your dream.
That may have been it.
I'm actually curious as to your thought process there.
Well, if Veronica is right, and one can animate a plant in the same way one might a corpse, then the same potential for magic energy may exist in a plant.
So, a plant performed the ritual.
Hey, Hector, you're not making any sense. Hector allowed a long pause to hang in the air before shaking his head.
It made sense while I was sleeping.
Did it?
How do you know so much about my research? I don't share my notes.
Yeah, you know a lot about everybody.
I figured out the basics by following your reading patterns in the library.
What would prompt you to do that?
Yeah, buddy. Ash took a step back, suddenly a deal more uncomfortable with the man in her bed.
Idle curiosity, mostly, and, I don't actually have all that much to do outside of classes.
So you stalk people? Hector Warlock, I need you to...
My failure to be paired killed my social life, and my own studies can only maintain my interest for so long. Other students' research occasionally provided a welcome distraction.
That's a little more reasonable, I guess.
Not sure if I should be mortified or impressed.
I am allowing for an uncomfortable mixture of both.
That would be reasonable.
Oh, goddess, do you actually think you're creepy? I thought that was some joke on Ash's part.
I know what time every student wakes up normally. I would argue that is definitively creepy.
Ash flinched a little at the admittance.
Light and shadows, you're weird.
Weirdest in the school. Also, the best. I think that once me and Prude get the hang of this pairing thing, I could outmatch the heads. Oh, there's an idea. Prude, have you ever considered becoming heads?
I have a kingdom to worry about first.
Ah, very well. I would prefer to avoid staying here anyway. 16 years was enough for me.
I'm sure you'll find plenty of ways to show off in the king's court.
Interesting.
Oh yes, I suppose I should talk to Zachariah and Luciana about that.
They let you call them by their first name?
You're graduated.
No, I call them by their first name and they must accept it.
Yeah, I mean, you're graduated. They don't not own you, but they don't, dictate that anymore. Hector's face took a dark expression.
They may not acknowledge me as their better, but they will at least provide me the courtesy of eschewing honorifics.
Ah.
You're being kind of intense there, Heck.
Hector's face immediately lightened. He looked almost embarrassed.
My apologies.
I don't know how to feel about him yet.
Do you consider us your lessers then?
Hector seemed struck by the question. Ash wasn't entirely sure what had prompted it. Resentment?
No. I am clearly better than you in some areas, but you have an area of expertise entirely removed from my own. The same goes for Prudence, of course.
But you just said you consider yourself better than Zachariah. I can understand possibly considering yourself better than Luciana. She's a necromancer too. Zachariah is a paladin. You have none of her abilities.
I need not possess the abilities of a paladin to recognize she lacks skill.
Jeez, man.
Her abilities are not deprived of finesse, talent, or even power. She merely abuses the ability of a paladin to instill strength in excess, and then uses her years of experience as a fighter. She is deadly in combat, but she is no great mage. Luciana's craft with golems is exemplary. Truly she is gifted, but I am better.
Ah.
You're rather arrogant.
Also creepy. But I am still the best.
Ugh, let's not fight, please. I would really like my best friend and my partner to be friends.
I apologize, Prudence. I will try my best. I have found no fault in anything Veronica has said. Of course, my best with social interactions is a tad worse than my magical abilities.
Aw, you're adorable. Like a deranged kitten.
Thank you.
I am not entirely sure that was a compliment.
First, we should conduct a little research. I would like to establish a range on a pairing ritual. Would you two mind helping me kidnap a few students?
Oh, do you really have to call it a
Please
kidnapping?
don't call it that. I'm sure he doesn't mean it like that. That is an excellent stopping point, too. Don't you go anywhere. Stop it. Don't go to the next
I
screen.
don't understand why I am required to accompany you on this.
Stop talking, Hector. You can keep walking, but stop talking. All right, everybody. That's a good stopping point. We're going to hold off there. I don't know how to feel about Hector yet. Are we going to find out, like, he was the one at fault, and then we're going to be pissed with him? I don't know. What's the deal with, like, Prude? Is she, like, getting feelings for Hector when it's pretty obvious and clear that, like, Ash has feelings for Prude. Excuse me. So sorry. But, like, I don't know. And I'm really invested. Why are you walking the other way now? I'm really invested at this point, though. I hope you'll continue with me on this journey. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, but make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And let me know, like, in the comments, tell me what you're thinking so far. What do you think's going on? Because I don't know. I am at a loss, but I'm loving this story. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, and good night. Bye-bye.